Hello, everyone. Welcome to our bi-weekly update on the 27th of September. Thank you for joining us live or for listening to this afterwards. Either way, we're happy to share all of the cool stuff that's been going on over the last 2 weeks and even more amazing stuff in the pipeline. So, one of the first things I'll talk about is the Nexus Earth conference that I attended last week in Aspen. So this was a really cool event put on by the Nexus team. If you guys are aware of the NXS token, they're doing really cool stuff with blockchain on blockchain on satellites, which was a really interesting idea. And I think they're looking 10, 20 years into the future of how we need to look at blockchain systems and resilience across the network. So it was really fun, but it was an amazing group of people that was there. And from our side, we had myself, we had ZenCash there, that's Rosario. We had David was there, who heads up our CIS market, and we had Tatiana there. So it was really cool showing on the ZenCash side. And I think that made a really, really big impact. So I was able to do a 25-minute talk specifically on crypto finance and privacy, with the focus being on what we're doing here at ZenCash. And I think the talk was extremely well received. I have people coming up to me afterwards, actually for the next few days, really wanting to talk about the project. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned from this process was how much interest there is out there in the community, particularly for those people that are already interested or involved in privacy projects, or maybe people from like the libertarian voluntarist community that was very much present at the Nexus conference. So it was really cool to see the level of support that we have out there. So in addition to the 25-minute presentation, I was able to sit on a panel with Max Kaiser was officiating the panel. Charles was there, Charles Hoskinson. He's one of our senior advisors. We had Roger Ver, infamous in the Bitcoin world, or famous, I should say. We had Ari from StormX, one of our new partners, was there. She's the COO of StormX. And then we had Shapeshift representation as well. So it was just a really cool opportunity to get out in front of the community and just make them all aware of ZenCash and what we're doing. So the panel was discussing the future of cryptocurrency. So clearly I had a bit to say about ZenCash and what we're doing. So on the next slide, I have just some cool photos to just give you a little bit of a snapshot of the event. You can see pictures of Tatiana and the team, ZenCash, Ari. Also, another really cool relationship that we have is with the Seasteading Institute. Nothing official really yet, but I do sit on a board of advisors for the Institute, on their blockchain board specifically. And the picture you see in the middle there is with Randy Hankin. He's the executive director of the Seasteading Institute, and he actually heads up the Blue Frontiers spinoff from that that's actually doing the commercialization of their technology. Some other really notable people that I met there were Doug Casey. He's been just prolific in the freedom movement and just alternative crisis investing for decades now. So it was really cool to meet him out there in Aspen. And you can just see the team picture. We had just people from all over the space were able to interact with. Made a good friend in partnership with Ross from Tezos. So I learned a lot more about the Tezos project, and there's some potential synergies there with us. Tony Lane, who's quite popular in the Bitcoin world, and just really cool group of people overall. So I think it was a great opportunity for us to just get the project out there into the, I won't say mainstream because it's not mainstream broad society, but at least in the mainstream Bitcoin world. It was really cool. So, okay, so all that said, with the Nexus conference, I'm happy to answer any questions. There's actually a lot of really good fallout from it, though, in terms of journalist interviews. Actually, I sat for a documentary interview, which was great to just get our project out there and more exposure. But now let's switch to what we've been doing the last 2 weeks, specifically on the project. So Rolf recommended this great slide, which is just focusing on the big picture with where are we going with ZenCash. So we've got 4 big items here. We've got clearly we need wallets and clients, right? We need people to be able to very easily use our system. So you'll notice in the last couple months worth of live streams that we've been doing, we've focused heavily on the different wallets and clients, because it's just really important for people to have easy access to the system. Secure nodes are a really big part of our system and what we're doing. So currently we're working on a trusted system, but we're moving towards trustless. Rolf and Alan will talk much more about that. We're working on the governance system. So we're operating kind of like a nimble startup company, but really what we need to do and what's a major part of our roadmap is decentralizing the governance and moving towards this trustless DAO type structure. So already we've started some research in that area, and we've got some interesting stuff in the horizon to talk about. And clearly we've been doing just a major push for outreach, partnerships, integrations. I don't want to understate how much we've been doing here, because we have teams all over the world who have been working their butts off. And I think we're starting to see some big results from that. So I'll always reiterate this fact that we're mission hyper-focused on usability. And that's just a focal point for everything that we're doing with our outreach efforts. Okay, so that's the high picture stuff. I'm throwing in a little surprise here, just kind of a little bit of a teaser on the R&D focus areas. So these are things that I've been looking at in the background for the last couple months, and at this point, I'm ready to start talking about them. Now, these are R&D areas that are interesting, I think, for the project, and things that we'll be considering or have been considering. So clearly, the treasury system and the DAO is a major part of what we want to do as a system, and it's a big part of our white paper. So as we've been going through our major milestones in the white paper, and we've been executing on them and delivering, I think, way ahead of schedule. Now we're starting to turn some focus to the DAO, because it's really important for us as a decentralized organization to actually decentralize, not just talk about it. So what we're doing so far on the treasury front is we've been pouring through current state of research. So we've been looking at game theory, mechanism design for voting, incentive systems, really getting a solid economic flavor and research-based flavor for what we want to do. And we've been looking at lessons learned from other great projects that have been looking at this problem in the past. Dash was the first to implement a successful treasury model with the masternode voting system. So there's a lot of lessons learned from there. And our IOHK has some great research that they've published on the Dash voting system. Tezos is another powerhouse in the industry after raising over $100 million in their ICO, but they're doing tremendous stuff on the governance side with their DAO. So there's some great lesson learned that we've been looking at from that. And then Ethereum Classic, ETC, had actually a proposed treasury model from IOHK that was proposed to the community but was not implemented. But fortunately for us, there's a tremendous amount of research that we're able to look at and figure out what would make sense to incorporate into our system. So our system is certainly different from a lot of other blockchains out there, and the main difference that I see from a voting perspective is we're a privacy coin. So requiring stake voting is a de facto penalty or cost, I should say, to those who keep their coins in shielded addresses outside the system. So there's some dynamics here that we need to consider and how things would operate for some sort of stable equilibrium that makes sense. So this is all part of the cool stuff that's just going on in the background. What we want out of a treasury model or a DAO system is we want there to be permissionless participation. We don't want anyone in the world to be excluded from our system for any reason. If they want to participate, they go out and they purchase some Zen, so they get into the ecosystem, and then they become voters. They become stakeholders in the system. We want there to be standardized proposal submission process so that we can get the proposals themselves into the protocol, right? Because this is a really big deal. You can go either with an off-chain DAO system, or you can do one integrated into the protocol. Now we have the two. We have the option to go between either one of those two, and we're looking at both. My personal preference is for a protocol-based one. We want incentives. Actually, this is a really important point from an economics perspective. In looking at game theory, you need to incentivize good behavior in any system. And that's what crypto economics is all about, is you don't want people to just, you don't want to assume that everyone's a good actor. And you want people to be rewarded and have the economic incentives aligned with being a good actor in the system. Or in our case, a good citizen in our Zen ecosystem. We want an incentive mechanism that rewards people for reviewing proposals and voting in a logical way that has this tied in some way to good outcomes. Okay, so we're looking at a variety of different options here. Now, there's a couple other science projects that we've been reviewing. Anonymity is extremely important to us, and there are known issues with network propagation techniques, particularly for Bitcoin. And the issue here is that network propagation tends to happen in a symmetric pattern. Therefore, adversaries could just reverse that symmetry to identify things like IP addresses, public keys, or addresses. So we have some R&D that we've been considering in the background that looks at redesigning the peer-to-peer networking stack, which was really interesting. There was actually a Bitcoin improvement protocol called Dandelion that was proposed that we're looking at a group of researchers based in academia that are looking to improve the Dandelion protocol to provide a lightweight and statistically anonymous solution to network propagation. So that's something that, these are just things that we're considering right now and looking at with research partners. Nothing that we've committed to yet. Another one down that line of investigating preliminarily is a protocol upgrade, a massive protocol upgrade called Spectre, which if we could pull this thing off would be huge for our chain in terms of creating fast and scalable, kind of a groundbreaking redesign to blockchain protocols that gives us really high block creation rates and confirmation times in the second. So there'll be a lot more information on these research efforts as we go forward. I just wanted to give a little bit of a teaser for everyone, just to know what we're thinking about, and just for people to understand that we're a very serious project here that's kind of spanning base science, research and development, and then just doing innovative stuff, and being at the same time hyper focused on our end users. With our major outreach efforts, our wallet designs, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on, and I don't want to understate it. So, okay, so the next slide, please. On the outreach front, we always have a lot going on with outreach, and there's some really cool news I wanted to just convey to you guys. So we have a really, really cool new partnership with actually a community member of ours, June. He runs Bittrex, which is a really cool peer-to-peer fiat gateway system, fiat to crypto gateway. So it's a system that allows you to buy small amounts, like up to $20 worth of cryptocurrency for cash, and using integrated systems that you're all familiar with, like PayPal, Venmo. So really happy to announce that ZenCash was just integrated into the system. So that's really big news for us, is that we now have like a micro payment gateway to the fiat world directly with ZenCash. So it's really cool. Going further down the list here, we've finally been integrated into BISC. At least we've been integrated into the BISC decentralized exchange, their next software release. So I'm not sure their timeline for releasing that product, but as soon as they do, ZenCash is integrated. So that'll be really nice news that we have another decentralized peer-to-peer market that we're part of. Still working Ledger. So Jake's working that project. He's doing a really good job. He just received his new hardware device, and he's working on the code to get ZenCash integrated. That's going to be really big news once we have our first hardware device that we're part of. And so the waves here, I keep this in every presentation and just changing the timeline. In a couple weeks, we'll be re-engaging with these guys. Waves is a very innovative financial platform, peer-to-peer, with a variety of interesting features for provide liquidity, ability to short products, so potential fiat gateways. So there's a lot that we could do with Waves, and they're making waves. They're doing a great job overall. So we've been talking to these guys for months now, and both of our projects were fairly at capacity with our resource loads already. So now we're going to be re-engaging with them in a couple weeks to start that integration. Okay, so in the media, we just have a lot going on. You've got this big list here. So Jane's been working her butt off in Asia. She's in Thailand right now, but she's going to be in Hong Kong speaking at the Next Change event. There, it's a FinTech 2017, like major FinTech event in Hong Kong towards the end of October, and she's actually sitting on a blockchain board. So that's really good news for us, is that when we have all of these major FinTech and financial banking organizations that are just kind of they're itching to get into this technology space, and then they see that ZenCash is represented on this board. This is really good news for us. It's great for us to have this kind of representation and just like public acknowledgement. So Jane's also leading blockchain events for venture capital firms and government officials in Thailand. Actually, just going on this Saturday. That'd be really cool. She's working with a group of people that's setting up an incubator, a fintech incubator in Thailand, and having ZenCash representation there is, again, just pretty amazing. And she's just been working a ton of potential partnerships behind the scenes that we're not even announcing yet, but really cool stuff. Like she's getting very integrated with the blockchain and fintech communities in Asia. Now, on my end, part of the fallout from the Nexus conference was I had an interview with Tika Tiwari, who's a prolific writer. So he runs a newsletter called the Palm Beach Letter, and this is actually part of the International Man portfolio of products, investment products from Doug Casey. So they have a major audience, about 180,000 subscribers who are specifically interested in cryptocurrency investments. And I had an hour-long interview with Tika yesterday, which was just awesome. I think his values and the values that he has, and I think are espoused in his reader, his subscriber base, are exactly in line with what we're doing, trying to work towards a freer world. And it was really good as well. So he'll be doing a write-up and introducing his community to ZenCash. Now, I also had a documentary interview with Jim Waltrip while I was in Aspen. So it'll be great when his documentary, this is about a year out. They've been interviewing everyone. Like the guy interviewed before me was the CEO of Overstock.com, Patrick Byrne. I think Roger Ver, Voorhees, all of these guys, Charles Hoskinson, who are just very prolific in the space, are being interviewed. So having us in that mix of people for this product that will be designed for general consumption for the general population will be great. We're going to get out there and get so much more notice. So we have a lot of things going on, short-term, medium-term, and long horizon stuff. This is more in the long horizon category with the release in about a year. Now, other really big news that we've had, and in fact, I have a slide on it next specifically. So I'll just say we've had a lot of media mentions recently. We have two great firms working with us, right? We've got Waxman PR, which dominates the cryptocurrency PR world, this press release world. The team there they're experts in dealing with journalists and getting us plugged into syndications, different media mentions. So they've done a great job. Most recently, they were promoting our StormX partnership, and we got into a variety of journals and media outlets. So that was great. Now, the next slide is talking about the StormX partnership. Now, this is huge. In fact, it's so big that we announced it officially while I was in Aspen, and I was there with Ari, who's the COO of StormX. Now, I've mentioned, I think in the past, that we've had this pending partnership with Cake Codes. Cake Codes was a 250,000 person gaming ecosystem. So they've just changed their name. They've rebranded and they've expanded their focus area from gaming to now they're like a gamified microtasking platform. which is great. So they deal with blockchain ad tech, advertising technology, and microtasking, and paying people to perform microtasks. So they have 250,000 monthly active users basically across the world, 187 countries. I'm not sure how many countries there are in the world, and there should be a lot more than 200, but I think they're in most of the planet right now, which is great because when well, I guess what they do is they give users the opportunity to earn cryptocurrency, but in our case, now their entire user base is going to have the opportunity to earn ZenCash by performing small tasks. And for us, it's great because when we have all these product releases, take for instance our recent Android wallet beta release. What we could do now is we can plug that beta release into their community and pay people to test it out, but pay people very specifically, like exactly what demographic of people are we targeting, and clearly, like, so we have two utilities that we can derive from this. We have one is the obvious one is we're introducing a massive audience to ZenCash, and these guys are growing like weeds. So 250,000 users now. I guarantee you they're going to be in the millions, probably by year end or definitely by next year. And the second thing is we actually get testing functionality from people, so we can pay them in ZenCash to now go and test our products, which is just great for us. So it provides us this very focused environment where we can, work symbiotically with their community. So it's a really, really amazing opportunity overall, just to introduce Zen to this essentially ideal target market. Okay, so the next few slides we have for our regional outreach teams. Now, I'm not sure which of these guys is online right now. David, it looks like you're available. Do you want to talk to what you're doing in the CIS market?
Sure. Hey, everyone. First of all, we had the awesome time in Aspen, Colorado with Nexus team, as Robert mentioned. It was great to, put face to the name to some team members like Tatiana, and also cultivate some really good partnership, as Rob mentioned. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't speak Russian, so he actually left out a couple people that I sort of networked with and socialized really good.
Sorry, David.
That's cool, man. Actually, I forgot on my end to squeeze this on one slide as well. Welto, the guys from Ukraine who are basically revolutionizing the payment of bills by cryptocurrency. Basically, especially this is true for electricity. A lot of miners who are mining ZenCash, of course, not Bitcoin, and want to pay the electricity bill. Now they'll be able to bypass all that big bureaucracy / taxation system and pay their bill directly by, so far they're in the Bitcoin, I believe, in a couple major ones, but I think we have a very good chance of plugging ZenCash right there as well. So aside from that, some of the other points, I was just looking at the metrics the other day, and looks like we doubled our Russian channel on Telegram, thanks to our very active Russian community members. So that right there is the metric. I'm sure I'm aiming to go high on the list of that regions where Tatiana analyzes, how many clicks came from that part of the world versus US. So we'll see how that goes. We're expanding out to the country of Georgia. That is actually my homeland, where I was born and raised, and also the place where the Bitfury operates. And I was just, watching an interview of the CEO of Bitfury yesterday, and the guy said, "Well, the reason I came to Georgia is very simple. It was the best place I could start the Bitcoin business in the world so far." And I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who Bitfury is, so that right there says it. We're reaching out to governmental and also non-governmental entities there to just say, "Hey, here is ZenCash, this awesome cryptocurrency, and let's see what we can do with it." And a lot of these negotiations are actually literally in the preliminary phase, and I just don't have enough space to put them on one slide. But I can assure you that there's a lot going on in the background, and I'm in a daily contact with them. Some simple things like participating in blockchain educational activities in the Eastern Europe. I've located a couple bloggers who are actually organizing regular meetups about blockchain, Bitcoin, and the alts. So we're working with them to see if we can talk about, have Rob or one of our core team members talk to them about the cryptocurrency, ZenCash specifically, and the privacy coins. And last but not the least, we're looking to participate in some of the sponsoring some of the educational activities in the blockchain technology. Well, it's funny that it's literally this morning's news, and also haven't had a chance to put it on the slides. But we are looking to sponsor a middle school competition for coding in the country of Georgia in a specialized science school called Newton, like Isaac Newton Free School. So we're working on that in the next couple of weeks. And I think that pretty much summarizes most of what I have been doing. Rob, all yours.
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought up the Welto connection. So meeting Dimitri and Alex in Aspen was awesome. So these guys participated in a startup competition, and they pulled us aside from that and wanted to tell us that. So these guys are building this system where you can pay your bills in cryptocurrency, like David mentioned. But what I want to stress is, so they have Bitcoin integrated, Ether integrated, and their third cryptocurrency of choice is ZenCash. So we're talking about two cryptocurrencies that are valued in the tens of billions of dollars, and then our cryptocurrency is their third favorite, which is valued at under $20 million. So I think this just says a lot about what we're doing and the reputation that we're starting to get in the community. So this is really good news to me. Now, the next slide we have is for the German market. Arno, I believe that you're online. Do you wanna hop in?
Yeah. Yes. Hi, everyone. It's as always a pleasure for me to give a short update about the German market. Before that, David, you're doing a very great job, and I'm happy to see all this big progress. So for us, I have just 4 points. It is mainly about the next appointments which we have on the. Is the slide online? Yeah, on the 4th October and 11th October in Dresden. It's the capital from Saxony. We will have 2 meetings. The first one on 4th October is a kind of a hands-on, meaning I will get hopefully a group of 5 to 10 developers, show them what ZenCash can do. We will do the ZenChat app, which I tried yesterday and days before with Rolf. And yeah, then we will discuss a little bit about the CK Snark. And yeah, this is for the first tense everything. It's like just an experimenting with the capabilities of Zen. On the 11th tense, it will be more public speaking in front of a lot of cryptocurrency enthusiasts with different backgrounds, like fresh ones or also very experienced guys out there. So I will just compare a little bit the ZenCash to Monero and Zcash, of course, and get some feedback what their thinkings are about ZenCash. And not last but not least, I have some happy announcement. I was setting up with an old friend from the Burstcoin community, Thomas, aka Trust, a secure node, and he set up a very nice web page where we have some links also to the YouTube videos from Bosscoin. And what is not on the page is that I want to thank Guido Guido Klingebeil. He wrote a German article. It's a short one, but the next one will come about financial aspects about ZenCash. It's more like a trading review, but it shows where ZenCash maybe goes in the price values. So this is, I think, everything from my side.
Awesome. So next up we have the China market and what we're doing there. So Jin, are you online? We got one person in the chat here that's name is ... I don't know if that's him. Okay, so if Jin's not here, I'll review his slide for him. So basically what we're doing in China right now, because of all the regulatory uncertainty, is we're really just testing the waters. So we had an initial roadmap in that market to get listed in some of the big exchanges. And we had some progress there with Binance, which would have been awesome. But, unfortunately, that all came to a regulatory screeching halt. So what we're doing now, and Jin is very aggressive with what he's trying to get us out there. And the first thing he did was he identified a very notable cryptocurrency blogger and just media personality in China. His name's Eric, and at least his westernized name is Eric, and we're working with him directly. So I know Jin and Eric are working together on a daily basis. They're doing a lot of cool stuff with outreach, just getting articles out there. So just starting to build this baseline presence. And Jin's approach is very experimental, where he's trying out different use cases to try to understand what's going to work best in China, right? So whenever you're tackling a different market with a new product, you have to think about like how does it make sense for us to enter the market? And you don't want to just come in with a bunch of prior beliefs and think we're going to do it a particular way. So he's taking this empirical approach, which I love. And he initially started with trying out having a couple of Chinese miners try mining ZenCash and see what type of profitability they could get relative to other cryptocurrencies they were already mining. And unfortunately, we weren't that profitable. So I think in the listings we're something like 10th most profitable coin to mine or something like that out of hundreds, right? So that's not too bad. But if you're a mining farm or professional miner, you're looking for top 1, 2, or 3, right? So we're close. We're not there yet. So that was his initial thought was, well, let's integrate into miners out there, particularly as exchanges are closing. Miners are kind of like the number one way for Chinese to obtain cryptocurrency. So that was the first look. Now he's rotating to merchant acceptance, and he's going to start looking for online and like privacy related merchants. I know that's asterisks in China, talking about privacy related, but the population does use VPN services, for instance. So we're going to be starting to target some of these online merchants that we think are useful bridges or links between cryptocurrency blockchain projects and just the general population. And then he's also going to look at promoting secure node adoption in China. So Chinese will now be able to. We're trying to structure a great value proposition for a Chinese user of ZenCash, and we have 3 value propositions, or 3 elements of, I think, a fundamental value proposition is they can make money by using ZenCash. So they can make money by mining ZenCash. We know it's not the most profitable in terms of all cryptocurrencies, but now they could also make money by hosting a secure node. And in the future, they'll be able to make money by participating as good voters, good stewards in our governance system, right? So there'll be some sort of reward mechanism for voting. So there's 3 different paths that we think contribute to this value proposition of utility for using ZenCash for getting into the ecosystem. Now, he's also looking to expand his team. So the first thing is he's trying to put together a technical team. So he already has kind of like an advisor, guy on the ground in China who's very plugged into the crypto community. But now he's looking to actively recruit a senior developer, about 1 to 2 junior developers, and then a small marketing outreach team to start handling some of these business development and kind of like blogging tasks, getting out there, shooting videos or whatnot. So we're making progress. We're doing it in a very methodical way, kind of probing the waters to see how we can have the biggest impact. Okay, so that's what I have for my section of slides. I think, Rolf, you're up next with all the cool stuff we're doing in the software development.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. So we've got a bunch of different things going on software development, and got an update from all our developers, and we've got a number of different things going on in parallel. Now, the big thing that happened last week was we went to version 2 of the Zen node software, which integrated TLS, so transport level support for encryption, which is also OpenSSL. It's the same thing that you see when you go to a website and you see that there's a lock up top. So our nodes are now encrypting all the transport between the ones that are running it. And some of the production nodes are running it, but I recently looked at the secure node testing page. There's probably about 71 active nodes that are running on testnet, because we have a whole bunch of people that are putting the latest ZenCash node software into effect and running it on testnet so we can help develop the secure nodes. And I'll give a little update on that soon. We have the good fortune to benefit from upstream improvements that are made to the Bitcoin and Zcash protocol. So we have a new encryption validation that reduces the information and work necessary to mine new blocks, and so less resource intensive. And we also brought in an improvement that does automatic deprecation and shutdown of ZenCash nodes that are running older versions. So it's great that we continue to be able to pull in those types of things, and the folks over at ZCash are doing lots of research and development on ZK snarks. Some of you might have seen the update that there's a update that they have planned for next summer that should reduce the compute and memory on ZK snarks considerably. So that's great that we have all these different parallel paths. On the Swing wallet, we have the Mac and Linux and Windows versions, and the Linux version has you compile it and run on top of your node, but the Mac and the Windows version have the binaries integrated into them. So the Mac version was just released with messaging features and the latest version 2 of the Node software. And if y'all haven't tried the messaging features of the Swing wallet, I really encourage you to do that. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So Horizen is a wallet that Lucas and his team is developing to replace the Helios wallet and then add additional features. So they're going at it from a different path than any of the other wallets that we have before, which is great because we love having different types of products, different wallets and clients. And from a usability standpoint, our wallets and clients are really the most important thing. Kendrick came up with the Zen Chat and the web wallet and the mobile wallet, and Horizen is creating a new structure. So one of the key things that we should be able to do with that is encrypt the wallet itself, which is one of the things that any ZK snark based cryptocurrency is not able to encrypt the wallet yet at this point. My Zen wallet, which is the online Zen wallet that you can use in your browser. It keeps everything secure. It doesn't share the information. Everything stays in your browser and on your system. Now it has a printable wallet feature. So we continue to add features to those. And this follows our development philosophy of move quickly, get things out there, get people to test them and iterate and add features and find out what might not be working as well as it could or things like that. Because that's one of our philosophies, that we can get things done and get them done quickly. Instead of being able to create something from whole cloth and putting it out there, we can get what people want by getting out early versions and having our great community test it and do all sorts of different things with it and make requests for improvement. Small thing that on our GitHub repo now, the developers have to put keys there to post commits. Always good on security. And I did an overview. Some people really prefer seeing things in a video form. So I did an update of all the software development. I'm not a developer, but I have a fairly technical understanding of IT. So I'm happy to present all this different information, and that's available for people to go view as well. And you can certainly find it on the blog. With secure nodes, I see that we've got Alan on the Discord here, and I'm going to do a big picture overview and ask Alan to jump in and correct me on anything that I might be wrong. He's doing a lot of the work on this, and also our community team is testing the different versions of the Zen node tracker and finding different issues and suggesting improvements so that we can get the secure node tracking and payment system up and running as soon as possible. So since our last update a couple weeks ago, there's been a lot of different improvements made. So there's a lot of things that the tracking system does. Now, if you're running a node software and you want to have it be a secure node, there's a bunch of different requirements that you have to do. The tracking system software sits and runs alongside and interacts with the Zen node software, as well as interacts with the Zen tracking and payment server. And that's currently running in alpha. We're preparing to get it to beta test. And in my video, I explain for what all the different things are that we do between the alpha and beta test. But big picture, what we're considering beta testing is moving the software over to the Zen development repo, and then standing up a redundant system of servers that are web-facing, front-facing, as well as database servers on the back end putting the software on there, running it in testnet for a while to make sure the things that Alan and Chronic have done to stand that up work well. Then we're going to move it over to mainnet, and then we're going to go live with payments. So as we're going through all the testing, we're really able to narrow down and figure out the things that need to be done to make everything work well. A lot of the work over the last 2 weeks that Alan and the team has been doing has been to integrate the TLS functionality of the Zen node software into the tracker. So one of the things that I think is really cool is that the different nodes that connect to each other are able to report on whether the certificate itself is valid and current and being used properly, and that shared information from all the different nodes is passed up to the tracking system itself. Now, plan for the next few weeks is going to get deployed to the beta environment. So beta testing for us, like I said, is considered that we're using software that should work pretty darn well, and it's running on our servers that are going to be put into production so that we have the environment that is actually going to be used in production and when we are ready to switch from beta testing to production. And that means enterprise type environment that's secure and reliable and has backups and has all the different things that we want to be able to have to keep it a reliable and secure system. Alan, did you want to add anything to what I said regarding the secure nodes?
I don't think there's anything to correct. I think you're right on track with it all.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thanks again for all your hard work, and I really appreciate everyone on the team who is working with Alan to get the secure nodes going, because we want to get these as quickly as possible into production, and they're a real differentiator for us. Okay, so on Swing Wallet, we've got on the messaging side of things, continued improvements. Give me 1 second here. Anyway, upgraded to Zen 2 with TLS on the Mac and added anonymous messaging. So the first version of messaging, you had to share a messaging profile with the person that you're messaging with, and that uses a combination of a transparent and shielded address to track the messaging threads, which is great. Keeps your messaging private, and when we do messaging, we can have it be private, where the people who are involved in the conversation know what's going on, or we can have it be anonymous. And there's definitely a use for both private and anonymous messaging. So Ivan has completed the anonymous messaging, which means you only share a Z address. And in fact, with anonymous messaging, it can be one-way or two-way. I can, for example, if I post a shielded address on my website, someone could then grab that address and send me an anonymous messaging using the messaging interface. They have the option of sending me a shielded address to reply to so we could have a conversation, or they don't have to send a shielded address, and I only get the information. So again, private, one-way anonymous, two-way anonymous, they all have different use cases, and what we like to do is be able to put the toolbox together for people to use the system in different ways that they want. For people that are using apt-based Linux environments, we have the apt repository, so you can just do sudo apt install the Swing wallet as part of it, and that's really helpful. And I just want to emphasize, I've been looking around at all the various ZK Snark cryptocurrencies and seen what the wallets are like and what the capabilities. Got to tell you, the capabilities of the Swing wallet with the messaging and anonymous and private messaging, it's the leading wallet that's out there. And it's great that we have this messaging profile that we're able to develop other types of things on. So there's continuing to be development on the Swing wallet to add further messaging features, and then of course in the future, private and anonymous publishing. Okay, so next we've got Drew has completed the first 10 video tutorials that of the video series on the Boss coin. Those are really good quality. In fact, I had a friend of mine, I've got a bunch of people around here that are interested in starting mining, and I direct them to lots of different resources on the web. But one of the guys that I've known for a while says, "Man, those videos that Drew does are really good." So that's great to hear. And he put a proposal up for a second season with another 15 videos. So we're going to see more of those. I encourage y'all to check those out. And Alexa has started a blog. And so we've got Alexa and Drew working together to take the different information on the videos and put them into blog format. So the first 2 of the 10 blog posts are completed. You can see that you can go to the website and see that. And we got Tails hanging out here, which is great. Love to have especially a good-looking dog like that. And this is what Drew and Alexa have done is a great example of what we really encourage lots of different people to do, is to go to our forum and propose an idea. Propose an idea of something that you can think of that will help ZenCash and the community and the capabilities move forward and get word out there to other people and to make it more useful from a usability standpoint. So I really appreciate the blog and the videos and anybody else who's doing things and working on the forum. Okay, I've got 2 marketing slide updates. One of the big things about marketing is getting statistics, because we create content, whether it's Drew, whether it's videos or blog posts or information or live stream like this, and it's nice to know that what we do is actually seen by people. And one of the things that we know we need to do is improve the website, and we're working on a redesign of that. But these types of things take a while. But I wanted to show you all some of the analytics so you can see some of the information that we're looking at that helps us to continue to get information out. Because it's a virtuous cycle. When we get more people that learn about ZenCash and have an opportunity to use things and read the tutorials and see the videos and get involved in mining and have the ability, then it feeds on itself, and we get the feedback, we get all sorts of different things that are going on. So this is for the last month, the statistics from the website. You can see that part of the statistics in early September weren't there, but 22,000 sessions, 15,000 users over the last 30 days. That's pretty good. Before I go to the next page, we've got logo competitions that are going on, tagline competitions, and all sorts of grassroots events, meetups, social things like that. We really encourage those. If you're going to go to a local meetup and want to have some Zen that you can use your mobile wallet to send to people, say, hey, check out Zen, and if you come to this, and I'll give you a presentation, and I'll transfer Zen to everybody's wallets. Make a proposal for that, because we want to do all sorts of different marketing and information. Okay, so looking at, and I just grabbed these statistics earlier today, the ZenCash website audience. So this is for, on the left here, the last month, and different sessions from different countries. And we certainly do have a lot from Russia and Ukraine, as well as Germany. So we'd love to see more from China on here. Of course, maybe the folks from China are coming through a VPN, so I don't know. And this also shows us that we're really not getting much from Korea or Japan yet, and there's a lot of folks in Korea and Japan that are interested in cryptocurrency, so maybe we need to do more work there. So this type of information helps us to provide, to do additional work or things like that. And then there's another chart here, users by time of day, which I thought was really interesting, that we get the most people coming to our website on Mondays and Tuesdays, whereas really on the weekend it tails off. So a lot of people, I guess, checking out stuff during the middle of the day, maybe while they're at work, I don't know. So that's the end of the formal presentation. Rob, I know that we had talked about answering questions, and I know that people have been typing in questions onto the YouTube live stream. And
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I just wanted to since I've been talking, you've probably been reading some of those, and I wanted to see maybe you thought that there'd be a priority of questions, and either you or I could tackle them.
Okay, so actually, there were two things that I forgot to mention. Jin actually just pinged me and made me aware of the fact that we're going to have a Chinese version of the website up soon. So hopefully that's done before the next bi-weekly live stream. So that'd be really cool, just to get the website translated into Mandarin and get it specifically tailored to that market. And the second thing I wanted to do was introduce Robin. So he's our new software engineering intern based out of France. So Robin, I see that you're online. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly to the community and let them know, I guess you're working on our first paper wallet, which would be really cool to get that out there. Okay, well, if you could unmute yourself, let me see if, okay, yeah, so I'm not sure if you heard that, but yeah, there you are. Do you want to just give a quick intro?
Oh, maybe he's got microphone issues. That's okay.
Yeah.
Hop in anytime, and Discord was pretty tricky for me. In fact, someone had asked me to do a Discord live interview on Zen, and I spent about 15 minutes trying to figure out the right channel to get into. But we were able to reconvene the next week after that. It's one of the videos in the playlist. So
Nice.
people ask a lot of questions about, I think people have got mining figured out. There's a lot of questions about secure nodes. That's why we continue to try to give updates. With secure nodes, it's hard to say exactly, to put a firm date and say, this is the date that everything is going to go live. Because one of the important things about secure nodes is that when we go into production, we go live, we want to make sure that it works. And it works well, and it's secure, and it's reliable. And that's why we have this testing period that we're working through as quickly as possible. But it's also why, if for people that are familiar with software development or website projects or other things like that, where it's very difficult to plan out everything ahead of time, you go through the process of doing the development and the alpha testing and the beta testing and production, and you go through the process properly, and then you have a working product at the end of it. So I expect that in the next 2 weeks, we're going to go to beta testing, and we're defining beta testing as using the production equipment, which is enterprise level, reliable, secure, with the code. And then after everything works well on testnet, on the beta equipment, then we're going to switch to mainnet with no payments, so that we can make sure that's working, and then we'll enable payments. So that's the plan. I do not have a firm date. Expect that all to happen in the next few weeks, though.
Cool. So I actually see a question here from Fabian about DAG or Tangled. So I think that there's a real future there. So technologically, it seems like there's still somewhat of an experimental technology. But I can say we are considering something quite similar with, so I mentioned in the R&D slide a protocol upgrade that we're considering called Spectre, would be similar, at least in terms of performance ability. So I think that this is absolutely crucial for blockchains as we move forward over the coming years, as we have to move away from this, very slow, methodical blockchain process where confirmations could take minutes per block. I think that's something that we need to upgrade, and I think we understand this as a community, and we're starting to move in that direction. Let's see, what else do we have?
I'm scrolling back through the questions and comments on the YouTube. It's great that we have so many people that have joined us for the live stream. It's over 50 people, and we're certainly going to do two things. We're going to publish the live stream video as well as make the presentation slides available. I think we might want to go back through and make some of the earlier presentation slides available, because I know some of the regional folks like to be able to put together different presentations that they do at meetups and things like that. So I see a question on, are we going to add more people to the team? Well, we've Rob's talked about the different people that we're adding to the team. We're continuing to do that. And the plans for bringing more users and awareness, I think we have really good plans and are executing on them well for bringing more users and awareness. We have a public relations group that continues to get us exposure to mainstream audiences. We have our marketing team that helps us get lots of different types of information. We have a big community base that is worldwide. We have a great group of miners. We have people that are used to doing master nodes that keep asking us about the secure nodes. Then we have different regions that are interested in ZenCash for different reasons. We are integrating with different exchanges and with getting all sorts of information out there and doing messaging. Now, I believe one of the things that we can do is, I think one of the things that might be a little bit confusing about the messaging and about ZenCash is that people might not fully understand the security of it. So we may want to go through and talk a little bit more about how ZK-SNARKs work, how they are secure and private and anonymous while still using the blockchain, and talk a little bit more about the messaging field. Because I know when I first started using the messaging, it almost seemed like magic that this is a completely this is part of the actual shielded transaction protocol. It's tucked into the middle of the note, and through the use of ZK-SNARK technology, nobody can see what it is, or even though it's being recorded on the blockchain, nobody can see what actual information is being communicated over that messaging. And so I think that may be part of the education and awareness, and it'll take months, maybe years, for that to filter out. But I think there's definitely use cases for this type of technology.
Yeah, Rob, and I wanted to piggyback on that just real quick. So, and to echo It's Me Boss Lady's comment on the StormX partnership. So I think this goes hugely towards user adoption and just getting potentially tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of new users into our ecosystem. So we're doing a lot of innovative stuff in terms of outreach, and that's one of the most exciting ones, I think, right now.
Yeah, and some of the best information and suggestions and contacts come from people that are in our community that would love to see us all succeed. So if you have ideas or suggestions, please bring them forward. Sometimes they're something that we put on the roadmap to do. Sometimes it's things we can jump on right away. But always interested in figuring out different ways to work with more people.
So I don't see any other questions. Do you, Rolf?
I don't. I think that's the majority of them, and that we've hit them. And we like doing these types of updates every 2 weeks. I think it's a great schedule. It's certainly better than every week, and there's so much that happens in 2 weeks. That is the way to do it. So continue coming to our blog. We will be sending out email updates on a regular basis. I think we have 3,700 email subscribers right now, so we should probably get a few more emails out to people. And continuing to go to conferences. I think that Nexus Earth conference was great. I was talking with Tatiana and Callie about some conferences that I go to because I like talking publicly, just like Rob does as well. Rob, are there other things that you're planning on going to where we're going to have ZenCash representation?
Yeah, I guess in the near term, I'll be heading out to Tahiti again for another seasteading working group out there. So I'm on a blockchain advisor for the Seasteading Institute, and we're actually meeting up with a lot of local French Polynesians, and even the government of French Polynesia is very interested in getting this project off the ground and integrating our technology. So it's just a really good opportunity, expanding into these kind of these areas that you might not think would be potential blockchain hubs, but so that'll be that project. And then I think we're talking about there's a Latin American Bitcoin conference in Bogota. Rolf, would be great for us to get out into. I think we're talking about that. And
I was thinking about going to that one, and so we got to kind of figure out how to divide these up. Jane's obviously keeping busy there in the Pacific Rim.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for now, but same opportunities to announce.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up, and please, everybody, continue to stay up to date on what we're doing, and we look forward to talking with folks on the live stream 2 weeks from now.
Great. Thanks to everyone for coming out and listening to us.